don't love the shot decision.
Yes! That is what an overtime win does to me. Avs win over the Vancouver Canucks 5-4 in overtime. I don't think the Avs were particularly good for a large portion of this game, but they won. In total, they were outshot by a single shot, and the actual possession metrics actually favored the Avs at 5-on-5. Their penalty kill gave up a very high number of shots, but it only got scored on once, and your power play scored twice. Yeah, there's the little note of a shorthanded goal given up, which isn't good, but all in all, if this is a weak game from the Avs, they're a great hockey team. With both teams being on a back-to-back here, you expected some fast and loose hockey, and defensively, this game definitely was that. But it's a game that comes down to capitalizing on your chances, and the Avs were just a smidge better at that tonight. It starts with the Avs' best forward in Nathan MacKinnon, capitalizing once at 5-on-5. I'm not going to talk about him much, but we saw some more vintage Cale Makar in this game. As he's going to collect this puck, he's going to use his legs to go all the way down the ice, get the Avs into the offensive zone, and get set up for what is the first goal of the game. It's not anything all-world, it's not anything super special, but there are a lot of defensemen that are either fully not capable of doing that or don't have the confidence to do it, and Makar just does it like it's nothing, and then puts a beautiful pass on a bit of a discombobulated Vancouver defense to Val Nischuskin right in the middle. Now, I'll be honest, as Val collects this, takes his time, and ultimately decides to pass it to McKinnon, live, I thought this was an overpass. I thought Val made the wrong choice, but Val does a great job of selling the shot here. With this collection, he's showing shot to Lehkonen in goal, and Lehkonen bites on it all the way. Lehkonen truly believes Nischuskin is about to shoot this puck, so when he dishes it off to Mac, no hope in the world for him as Mac throws it into the open net. And then again on the power play. It's not clean, but I do think the Avs power play needs a little bit more of just finding a way to make things work. McKinnon up the wall, it almost gets intercepted, but kind of trickles through good enough to allow Cale to collect the puck. A bit of good puck movement at the blue line, while sketchy, if executed well, works great. All of a sudden, Vancouver has stretched their box the entire length of their own defensive zone. This is going to be hard to work against, and Val recognizes it immediately. Again, not a great pass, it just barely slips through, but he puts it to the area that Vancouver is simply not defending. Lecky is able to recognize where he is. Oh, that's Olofsson, my bad, wrong guy. Olofsson is able to recognize where he is. It's probably not the greatest pass in the world, but again, it just trickles through because Vancouver is out of sorts. They're trying to recover, and these plays are getting by because of the Avs puck movement. They're not forcing it through. They're putting it to the areas that they should be. McKinnon collects it. Instead of letting this one rip, he double clutches to find the lane. This is actually a really good decision. As often as I like the Avs to shoot the puck quickly, McKinnon does a good job of finding the right area to get to, and then just beats Lehkonen clean. To break those goals down, that first goal is just the juice. Just awesome work from Makar, from McKinnon, and especially from Val Nischuskin. The Avs lineup would get real weird throughout portions of this game. A lot of people playing with a lot of different people. And you had to find combinations that were effective. Val Nischuskin and Nathan MacKinnon were one of those combinations. To be fair, Nathan MacKinnon and just about anyone was pretty effective in this game, but a good night for Val. McKinnon now leads the league in goals by himself with 14 goals in 16 games. This is by far the best shooting year of Nathan MacKinnon's career so far. And I've talked about this a little bit already. It's likely going to come down to earth some, but with the pace he started the season on, 50 goals should very much be on the table. That was only part of Nathan MacKinnon's night, too. He doesn't play nearly as integral roles in the rest of the Avs goals, but he had a 5-point night. He literally participated in every single Avs goal in this game. That's why Nathan MacKinnon is Nathan MacKinnon and everybody else in the NHL is not. And it was a far from perfect game. We saw the Avs struggle defensively through probably most of the game, especially through the first and second periods. The Avs get hemmed in their own zone quite a bit. They end up having to kill some penalties. You know that's hard on tired legs. And after the penalty gets killed, an extended shift in their O zone, rather their D zone, costs them. Avs penalty kill is just expired, and this is where I'm starting this clip. The Avs do have some tired PKers out there, but this puck needs to be out of the zone. Count 4 Vancouver players in deep on this puck. All you have to do is get it past one guy at the blue line. Yep, you're being contested. Yep, you need to rush this a little bit. Yep, you might be on your backhand. In the NHL, this puck needs to be out of the zone and you need to protect yourselves. Instead, it fumbles off of Nichushkin's stick, and the Avs are in an awkward situation where Manson coming out of the box means they have 3 defensemen on the ice. Things get awkward. things with tired legs, you can just kind of feel something brewing here for the Avs. And that is exactly what happens as a puck gets thrown into the net. It bounces in front, and credit to Linus Karlsson here. This is kind of sick. He goes between his own legs to dump it into the net. That's a sick goal from Karlsson for his first goal of the year this far in. That's pretty crazy. I'm willing to tip my cap at that one. Even if you have some problems with it, there are much more glaring issues in this game for the Avs than a goal like that. Exhibit A being the goal the Avs give up early in the second period to tie the game. Vancouver's going to dump this puck in, and there's really nothing here. Yes, a forecheck is coming. Yes, they're chasing, but Taves gets to this puck clean. You should be calmly not worrying about getting out of your own zone here. It's a quick chip up to the wall to Nischuskin, who needs to make the Avs breakout play, whether that's the thing they love to do, touch it to the middle and get going, or just slam it up the boards, or even pin it here. Instead, Nischuskin just is not ready to be challenged at all, and when you get stick-on-stick contact, Nischuskin completely flubs the puck. It goes to no one towards the middle of his own zone and the crease, and who's there but, of course, the ex-Av Kiefer Sherwood, all alone, puts the finish home. Marty Nischuskin was one of the worst players on the ice for the Avs tonight. I think that is pretty clear based on his gameplay. And I can forgive bad nights. Players have bad nights. Marty has had other bad nights this season. Some of that happens. I really struggle with that play specifically, though. It is unfortunately a little bit too common in the Marty Nischuskin playbook, but that play just comes down to a lack of awareness and effort. Nischuskin has to know he's being challenged from behind there and that a stick is going to contend with his own, and he simply has to be stronger on that stick. There is no world where it's acceptable that that puck goes to your net front and you just didn't put a big enough effort in to win that puck battle, or at least do something with that puck that isn't throwing it right towards your own slot. Nischuskin is never going to be a great defender in the league. That's not why the Avs got him. They got him to be a running mate for Nathan MacKinnon in the offensive zone, and in that zone it usually looks great. But plays like that where you simply get outworked and you know you could have done better, those gotta stop. The second was a terrible period. Probably one of the least fun periods of the season. It was just bad hockey from both teams. Halfway through the period, shots were 2-1 in Vancouver's favor. The Avs would really not generate much offense at all in the second period, and Vancouver would pick it up here and there with some power play opportunities, but it was just a sludge mess. And that's the thing about the Avs this year. Yeah, they play some bad periods. Yes, they have some bad stretches of hockey, but for the most part, they've found that they have the answers to get back up, answer the bell, and find a way to, if not win games, at least keep them competitive. After a truly bad period, 30 seconds into the third period, the Avs re-get their lead. The thing I love about hockey is chaos can turn into a thing of beauty very quickly. First of all, whatever this nonsense yard sale is, as McKinnon gets you into the zone, he just kind of slaps a puck through to a dangerous area. It doesn't quite connect with Lehkonen. But then Josh Manson collects, the Avs reset a little bit and put together something beautiful. Nathan MacKinnon, back with the puck, takes his time, surveys the zone, gets to the open space where he's not really being covered before finding Brent Burns up high. Kind of tough defense from Canucks there, I'm not going to lie to you. That is a lot of space that a different defenseman like Cale Makar may have just lit you on fire by himself. But you see Burns does take advantage of that space in his own way. And then you get the Brent Burns classic. Just right through into a shooting pass, whatever you want to call it. It's a pass all the way. But he puts some mustard on it, and Lehkonen, with the strong stick, gets the finish. Classic Brent Burns. That is what he does best. He finds his team's sticks in the dangerous areas. You just need to be strong enough to get on your stick and be able to get on that puck, and Lecky absolutely was there. One of the very few players in this game for the Avs that I thought outworked their opponents. Lehkonen will give you that every single night. And there is a bigger conversation here. I think the Avs did get outworked for the majority of this game. They kind of thrived off of skill and a handful of quality plays to get away with this win. I know underlying metrics look pretty decent actually, but the Avs spent a lot of this game trying to sneak by. And we saw some of that in the third period as well. It didn't really come until later, but when the Avs were leading in the third, there was a good amount of turtling and a good amount of the Avs just trying to survive this game. In many ways, that made life harder for themselves, and it made this third period definitely a bit sketchy. A power play opportunity somewhat early in the third gives the Avs a chance to put this game away, but instead it equalizes it for Vancouver. Avs on their own power play, they get the zone entry, Val coming up the far wall. He's going to try and throw this in deep and put the Avs in the offensive zone. Now this does come in hot. You want to blame Val Nischuskin for a bad pass here. I think to a certain extent that's fair. But When you're looking at the situation, and I don't claim to know the Avs systems in this detail to this point, but you're on the power play, right? You're not necessarily trying to create rush chances, and you already have Olofsson coming down the middle. So Nischuskin is expecting Natchez to be an option probably around the half wall, ready to keep this puck in the zone and have the Avs get fully set up on their power play. Instead, Natchez cheats hard, gets in, maybe thinking about going to the back post, maybe thinking about going in behind the goal line. But whoever makes this mistake, it is a miscommunication badly, as again, Val tries to rim this pretty hard, and Natchez is just not there or prepared for that puck at all. He's not even making an attempt to play it. Personally, I put this on Natchez more, but that allows a puck to not only get out of the zone, but because the Avs had committed so hard to getting that setup, it's now a 2-on-1 the other way with nobody but Cale Makar realistically back on this play. Makar does what he can, and honestly, it's a great back check from Olofsson, but this shot gets off from, call it the dot. We'll call it the dot, and Mackenzie Blackwood gets beat up over the glove again. On the backside of it, in a perfect world, you probably want that save from Blackwood. In his 2 games, he's been beaten high glove quite a few times now, so you don't love that, but you really should never be in that situation in the first place if your power play is playing the puck correctly. I don't want to get too in the weeds on the bad power play stuff, and I know a shorthanded goal is bad, but I really did think the power play was pretty good tonight outside of the struggles of Marty Nischuskin specifically. And I think it's fair to say the Avs kind of knew they needed to get that one back, and the universe agreed, giving them a second power play opportunity in this third period. By the way, reffing was awful in this game. I don't really want to get too much into it in this video. You can go watch the early parts of our podcast post game if you really want to hear my thoughts on it. But yeah, really bad reffing. Take advantage when you get the opportunities. Artturi Lehkonen does again. You want to know how to have a 5-point night? 1, be as skilled as Nathan MacKinnon, so that eliminates pretty much everyone on the planet. But 2, do the hard work. Nathan MacKinnon on the power play in the corner in a puck battle. The Avs are going to come away with this one. They're going to win a battle. They didn't do a ton of that tonight, but this is one big one that Nathan MacKinnon, maybe your most skilled, maybe your best player on the team, getting in there and getting the job done to keep you in possession. Makar collects it up high, goes back to McKinnon. This is actually kind of a little bit of an awkward spot where it feels like the Avs are crowding themselves. I don't know what's going on here with Vancouver. Their box has kind of collapsed. So McKinnon finds a beautiful little pass through. Natchez probably a little deeper than you would like here, but doesn't overthink it. Puts the puck on net, gets a shot on. It's a good initial save, but that rebound comes out huge. And oh, look at that. The box has not covered Artturi Lehkonen at all. That one Lecky's going to finish. 1, on a bad night, Marty Nischuskin gets a point on that play by simplifying the game. He throws a puck at the net. That's all you got to do. This has been a continuous thing for the Avs. When a guy's struggling a little bit, simplify, shoot, get rewarded. Lecky, the man on the spot there, who is just so good in those areas. Does feel like at times he's been a little snake bit with some of those finishes, but tonight it went in for him. I really would have liked that to be the game-winning goal. Again, the Avs turtled a little bit much for me in the second half of the third period, especially as he got down to the last 5 minutes. But fate would have other ideas. A questionable penalty call that goes in Vancouver's favor, and the Avs penalty kill finally cracks. Very little to break down here. Vancouver got the face-off win and got set up immediately on their power play, and you see a nice little run through there from Vancouver. That slash through the middle drags Brent Burns just enough to leave DeBrusk uncovered, or at least the stick isn't in the passing lane anymore for that backdoor play, and they run it to perfection. A beautiful redirect from DeBrusk. Burns gets caught cheating a little bit there. Your penalty kill went 4 of 5 tonight under some pretty heavy pressure. Enough power play opportunities. Vancouver was going to get one, and again, I don't even know that discipline was a real problem, just real inconsistent reffing. Tough one for the Avs to take. Would be a lot tougher if they lost the game, though. We get to overtime, and Bednar appears to have learned his lesson. He does not put Natchez and McKinnon together, which, to be fair, for a good portion of the third period, he was playing Gavin Brindley on the top line because Brindley was one of the few guys who actually had juice in this game. We saw a lot of blending, so that might have had something to do with these overtime decisions. I'm just throwing that out there. But after an initial shift with McKinnon and Lehkonen that doesn't result in a ton, the Avs do maintain possession decently well, though. Brock Nelson and Gavin Brindley come over the boards. Now, I've been heavily critical of Bednar's overtime decisions, and I think rightfully so, but because of that, I have to give him credit for being willing to take the risk and playing Gavin Brindley in overtime. Just remember, this is a kid who's playing his 16th ever NHL game. In the NHL, he had never played a second of 3-on-3 before tonight. But Bednar saw a guy who was doing the right things and playing the right way and has been good for the Avs this year. He gives them the opportunity, and he gets rewarded for it. You want to know how I know everyone on this team has faith in Gavin Brindley? Because he's out there in overtime, and the Avs drop the puck to him. Not to Brock Nelson, not Cale Makar carrying it himself. Nope, they set up Gavin Brindley to go get this zone entry by himself. That's exactly what he does. That alone, nice stuff. You like to see it. But Brindley keeps going. He goes through the middle. I'll be honest, I don't think this is a particularly good shot to take in overtime. I think it's a pretty high likelihood of the other team getting possession of the puck and you not scoring. Brindley does take it. He gets it on net, and a rebound comes out. And that makes this a great play because Gavin Brindley has gas in this game. Juice, whatever you want to call it. You know he's all over this puck. He jumps on it on the whiffed poke check from McKinnon, and Brindley's second effort wins the Avs the game. Life isn't fair, and oftentimes hard work won't actually trump skill. But in this instance, that's exactly what this is. Gavin Brindley outworked every single player on the ice for the entire night, and justice gets served off of doing exactly that. It's not the skill of Gavin Brindley picking a corner. It's not an unreal play, although it is good. Gavin does have some skill. It's getting to that rebound. It's just being willing to do what the other players aren't that gets Gavin Brindley his first ever NHL game-winning goal. I'm definitely biased here. The Gavin Brindley storyline has been probably my favorite of the season for the Colorado Avalanche. He's a super fun player to watch. It's a super awesome success story. Everything is coming up aces for him and the Avs in that area. There's plenty to not like in this game for the Avs. Absolutely. But it's a Sega Baba. The Avs have now won 3 games in a row. Nathan MacKinnon is all-world. You're still getting clutch depth. Guys like Lehkonen and Nischuskin are finding it after some lulls in scoring. The Avs are getting it a little bit from everywhere, and that allows them for guys to have not great nights, like a Marty Nischuskin, for a second line to maybe disappear a little bit. Although, again, Nischuskin was great. It's just a matter of who's playing with who at any given moment in this game. The Avs don't need their entire lineup to be perfect. That's how you get a 9-1 game against Edmonton. But they do have enough guys every single night that are doing enough that they're going to win a lot. And even when they lose, it's not going to be easy for the other team. It's really hard not to feel like the Avs are a little bit different this year, and they have something that they haven't had for the last couple of seasons. It's a fun time. This video has gone on long enough, so I'll leave it there and just enjoy this one. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and Gavin can dance.